Good morning. This is Mrs. Hawk. Today is April 21st. A quick little update for today. If we were in school, today would be the 10th grade reading MCA test. Reading on your computer for a few hours this morning instead of having class, and you'd be partway into it. First, I want to give a quick little history of the AIDS epidemic. It is called, the virus is called HIV, and that's the thing that causes the disease that is called acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And the reason it's called this is because the HIV attacks the helper T cells, which are part of the immune system, and it causes the immune system to not function well. So I'm going to large screen this little video right here. And it has affected lots of people around the world. And there's a quick little picture of the virus itself. So this little virus goes into the bloodstream, can go into blood or semen, vaginal fluids, or breast milk. And once it's traveling around in the blood, it eventually finds itself with a white blood cell. Once there's a white blood cell, a helper T cell, the HIV will attach on to the CD4 antigens, which are the markers on the outside of the helper T cell. And it will get in, actually the whole virus won't go in, it'll just send in parts of itself to be able to make copies of the RNA or the DNA. So it creates a DNA strand. That DNA strand is called viral DNA. That viral DNA attaches onto the human DNA, and now this helper T cell starts making little virons. Those little virons can then go out and start attaching themselves onto different kinds of helper T cells. So for a while, well, that's a lot, 10 billion. So for a while, the person feels pretty healthy. They have a latency period, really no symptoms, no effect whatsoever. And if that goes untreated, it will continue to attack the helper T cells. And eventually the helper T cells get low enough, and then it turns into AIDS. The immune system is really affected. So if you noticed in the video, the movie, there were increasing cancer cases and there were increase in pneumonia cases. And the increase in pneumonia is a pneumonia that most people would be able to fight off with their immune system. The increase in cancer was a type of cancer that people should be able to fight off themselves. So there is no real death by AIDS that happens. Now, once we know the mechanism of the virus, then we can use that information to try and figure out what medicines to use. And a few years ago, there was a situation where somebody decided to raise the price of their medicine from $13.50 to $750 a piece. Because business is involved in lots of things. There are ways to prevent antiviral, to prevent antiretroviral. We'll talk about what a retrovirus is. Hoping for a cure for somebody who is HIV positive. And we'll get into the bone marrow. One other way is to take someone who is HIV negative and transfer some from those who are HIV negative into those who are HIV positive. And I won't reveal this yet. If you, I'm going to make the assumption that you have not yet seen And the Band Played On. And it talks about some of the characters who were involved. And the Nobel Prize was awarded in 2008 to some who figured out the structure of HIV and how it functions. I will tell you on Thursday, we're going to have a discussion to, so make sure you have watched The Band Played On. That came out in 1993, and there's lots of things that have happened since then. And there will be a link for a discussion on Thursday. on Google Classroom. It'll probably be the same link. You can come to the 8:30, the 10 o'clock, or the 1 o'clock conversation. I will tell you that if you are choosing to come to the 8:30 conversation, this is typically a time when you might not be quite awake yet, so trying to make sure you're awake and ready to have some conversation. There'll be a voice chat option to be able to speak. I would like to hear from you, but I'd also like for you to be able to write and type within the, I do have a slideshow here that is ready that we're looking at using and typing in. Next week, then we'll get into the immune system mechanisms and how that functions. So I hope this finds you well and healthy, and everybody working and getting outside and enjoying some of that sunshine.